we need that. We need a competitive training camp. We need that grit and that grind that we're going to face in these next couple of days together as a unit. So I think we added a lot of guys with that type of toughness, but then also guys that can space the floor and shoot the ball as well at different positions. So, I just think the versatility is there for our group, and then now it'll be just a matter of figuring out how we all can gel together on the basketball court, defensively and offensively. But we got a lot of talent to make some good things happen this year. But it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of chemistry for us as a whole group to come together and figure it out. But that's the challenge we have ahead, and we look forward to using these next couple of days to compete, but then also to really learn one another's styles of play and what makes us the toughest team to play, to what makes us to be a tough team this year.
Hey, Tobias, Mike Sealski from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Once James got here last year, the number of threes you took, I think, went up, and your percentage making them went up. How do you view that kind of change in your game? Like, do you go into the offseason figuring I'm going to get more catch-and-shoot threes, playing with James over a full season, and what kind of adjustments do you make to your preparation for the season, maybe knowing that?
Yeah, last season it was in the beginning of the year it was tough for me because now at one point I'm shooting like 29% from three, which is like not to my standard, and from shooting very very well from 3 years prior, that was tough for me. But in reality, I just got to the drawing board and figure out ways to increase that 3-point percentage. Where after the All-Star break it was up over 40%. So. Just really going into off seasons, figuring out ways to kind of follow up from that. And, the biggest adjustment was letting it fly and not worrying about the result, but shooting it quicker and shooting it from different spots and letting it go. So I do look to kind of let them go even more this year in different situations on the floor. I just think it opens up the floor for everyone else. And, if I'm in those positions to receive that basketball, I have to let it go to space the floor the best way for our group. So it was an adjustment for me because it was kind of the first time that I've, in my career, been in those positions as kind of a catch-and-shoot player off the ball. But, after a couple of games and once I made a few adjustments shooting-wise and with the preparation, it all came together for me. And, I was able to have some very good games all throughout after the All-Star break. So I do look to follow that up this season. So that's a secret I can't tell you because then I'd be giving my secret sauce away. But shooting it quicker, I was noticing in a lot of the film prior, I just wasn't letting the ball go fast enough in certain areas on the floor and hesitating a little bit, but just letting it fly and letting it go and living with the result was probably the biggest adjustment. Yep.
Hey, Tobias, just speaking of adjustments, adapting your game, now with PJ on board, figure that might mean more minutes for you at the three, sliding down a position, obviously something you've done before, but what are going to be the keys to taking on that role and being successful at that position?
Yeah, in Doc's system, honestly, the 3 and 4 is pretty identical. Probably the only adjustment would be who you guard defensively, and last year I guarded 2, 3s, 4s, so I don't think it's that much of adjustment, to be honest. They're identical positions. When we played in LA, myself and Gallinari were the 3-4, and we never really labeled ourselves as 3 or 4. It was just forwards. So I think that's kind of the same adjustment here. Obviously, we'll see what positions we're in offensively as a group, but in terms of playing the 3 or the 4, they're pretty identical, to be honest.
Hey, Tobias, Kate Scott, NBC
Hey.
Sports Philadelphia. From the outside looking in, it looked like a really joyous off season for you. You're a movie star.
Thank you.
Your baby, your dog is growing up, and you got married. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
How would you describe your off season and maybe the impact it has on you coming into this year?
No, it was a great off season for me. As you said, I got married this off season. I had a puppy. I learned that I was a bad puppy dad from this trainer, but he was right because I spoiled my puppy too much. So I figured that out. But like when the season ended, I knew that it was an eventful summer for me. Wedding, honeymoon, etc. So I probably took like a week and a half and then got back in the gym because I knew there were going to be pockets in the summer where I wasn't going to be able to be fully present in the gym and whatnot. But I just got to work. I put in a lot of hours. Speaking to Doc in the exit meeting and what he wanted myself and the group to focus on, and just getting back in the gym, I was excited to get back in the gym and kind of keep what I had going for myself towards the end of the year. So a lot of work, a lot of conditioning, working on my body, making sure that I was fully healthy all throughout the summer. And to this point now, I had a wedding, which is the best day of my life. We had an amazing time, and to where I'm at now, my marriage is great. Being married is awesome, and it was an exciting time for me. I turned 30 years old as well. I don't know how I'm saying that right now because I asked Jaden Springer how old he turned yesterday, and he told me 20, and I was like, that's crazy, but it just goes to show, like, the NBA, when I came in the league, I was 19 years old, so it goes by fast, but this is an amazing time. And to go into my 12th season in the NBA, it is a true blessing for me, and I'm excited.
Sam Giovanni, Clutch Points. Speaking of the younger players, one of the things that Doc said when he was up here was that Maxey, Paul Reed, and Matisse have been three of the hardest workers this offseason. So how excited are you to see how those young players take another step forward this year?
Yeah, I mean, all of them have done a great job with using this off season. It's the first full off season in 3 years for a lot of guys who've been in the league for that long. But Jaden, Matisse, Tyrese, they've all been in the gym working constantly. You're able to check in on guys throughout the summer, make sure that they're putting their work in, putting their time in, and I think you're going to see big improvements from a lot of guys. Biggest thing is during this year is to continue to have that steady work ethic throughout the year, no matter what's going on. This group is going to need every guy, every player, and we got a lot of talent on this team, and it's exciting for every person in that locker room to really excel for our team to hopefully win a championship.
To kind of build off Mike's question about your three-point shooting once James arrived, just the role that you had to change it in the middle of the season last year, or at least shift it. So now going into this year, just how much more at peace or comfortable do you feel just kind of knowing what's expected of you or required of you just with this iteration of the team?
Yeah, I mean, I do have a greater feel for how we will flow and play. Obviously, you never fully know, but the way that we played in the playoffs, that was kind of like a blueprint when we were at our best of how we can be really good. So, just following up on that, and then also I know that what's expected of me each and every night in terms of being a leader, in terms of my energy, in terms of defending on the basketball floor as well, and those are controllables that I can be present with each and every night that I play. In terms of the offense and the shots, those will be there. And I always said, the better we are defensively, the better team we are offensively, and kind of that's really the goal for this group going forward. But for me, it was easier to work this summer knowing, okay, this is what was successful for me last year. This is how I can grow off that success and be better for our group this year.
Hi, Tobias. Dave Uran from KYW News Radio. After the Heat series, last playoffs, a common theme was mental toughness. How do you think that improved in the off season? And it's early, but in what ways are you noticing improvements in the gym and on the court?
Yeah, like you said, it's still early. Playing 5-on-5 pickup, you're not really going to be mentally. You're not really going to be presented with much things to really come at your mental toughness. So I think training camp will get a better feel. And realistically, when we hit adversity, that's when we'll really see how tough we are mentally as a team. But I think we can keep a couple staples of how we'll play, pillars of who we'll be as a team defensively, how we will be when things aren't going our way throughout this year, to keep us mentally focused and mentally stable in who we are as a group and team. So right now, everything's all good. It's 0-0, right? Let's see how things are in the season when, whatever our record is. Hopefully we get out to a great start and keep things rolling. But it's really when you hit that type of adversity that you find out if you are a mentally tough team or not.
If I could follow up, do you feel like the additions of PJ and Montrezl Harrell and other additions you made this offseason can help in that area and really are catered towards that area?
Yeah, I think additions of everybody that we added this offseason bring us. We got guys who have been in winning environments that know how to win, that take a pride in winning, and truth be told, they take a pride in, really being the best at whatever role is asked of them. So I think adding those type of guys to our team for sure helps us. And now it's on us to really figure it out as a group. I think it's exciting to be able to go into this new season. As we go into training camp, we know we have a lot of work to do. We know where we left off last year. That wasn't where we wanted to be. It's all good to say, hey, this is the year, but nothing's going to be presented to us or handed to us, and we understand that, and we need to be ready to work in training camp, and we need to be ready to compete and get ready and figure out how we can really come together in a short period of time to figure out how we can be the best team that we can be.